Always great having my next guest on the show. It's the Rasquatch, Ras Hylton, who will be back in action on May the 27th when he faces Brendan Battles at Cage Titans 59 for the heavyweight title. Raz, how you doing, bud?
Doing good, man. Good to see you again. How you been?
I'm doing fantastic. It's always good to see you. Before we dive into this great fight with Brendan Battles, it's a big, opportunity to win the inaugural Cage Titans heavyweight title. It's definitely a big deal here, especially in the great New England area. But first, I want to start with some, some more somber stuff, right? Both of us were friends of Mike Shorey. You have the Shorey Strong shirt on. I don't know if you can see the picture I have up right here of me and Mike in the back. Shorey
Yeah.
Strong. I'm doing the best that I can to, you know, uh, remember him for everything that he's done for, New England MMA. But more than that, just he's just a good person, a great friend, as you know, and we lost him to cancer recently. So I just want to start there, man. You got the Shorey Strong shirt on. Let people know what you're doing to keep his memory alive and leading up to this fight.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for all that you've done to bring him in and highlight him in the New England MMA scene, man. I mean, we all know Mike was a really humble guy. So putting him on the spot and really, like I said, highlighting the fight that he put on for us. What was it? His sister said at the memorial service how long, what was the actual count, what was the day count on how long he was fighting cancer? Do you remember?
I mean, I can't remember the specifics right now, but
It
I know it's
was a
I know it
year,
was a
some days. I just couldn't remember
yeah.
the day count. That was what left me. But it was just I really appreciated how she highlighted the fact that it was that long that he was fighting to maintain his authenticity throughout the process. You know, there were obviously more crap days than good ones the closer we got to the end, but he was always present and available for all of us in a way that I am striving to do in my own way in my own life right now. That's why Fight Like Mike is going to be joining this hashtag on the next shirt, because that's what really became our thing is Fight Like Mike. Like I that was why I got as fast a finish as I did in my past couple leading up to the PFL fight. That was why I was able to really get things in sync. You know, I've got a lot of really good coaches and teammates who help me to get ready, but there's one of those sayings is fighting is 90% mental, and having that mental fortitude lined up when you step in every single time is important. And you've seen it cage side as well for a number of times over the years. You know, when I'm on, and when I'm off, it's obvious. But I'm it's been a real tough go of things, to be perfectly honest. uh, for me, especially with Mike leaving right before this was coming up. But he he reminded me of how important that was in our last conversation. After we were there together, I presented Mike with the only black belt uh, I've ever bestowed on anyone. I was hoping to be able to do that because for those of you who don't know, Mike was working with some of us to be able to get into the cage for his first amateur MMA bout. It was one of those, got to do it before I get too old things. You know, he and I really resonated on that. And after that fight is when I was going to present it with him because he posted everything he did on Instagram. He was training hard for that. even with a cracked vertebrae, which is what he went in for to get checked out, which is how they found the cancer. The man had a crack in his lumbar and was still jogging and doing bag rounds and working with us to get ready. And all as long as he could move, he was up and he was on the bag after chemo. Tired as hell, feeling sick. We get off the phone, and what does he do but throw in the mitts for another round? So having a firsthand inspiration like that has been really instrumental for me. And I'll admit I've been a bit of a mental slump since his passing. I've been a little withdrawn, and this fight is not just honoring Mike, but also getting me back to who I need to be. Kicking me out of that so that I can, be an example like he showed me.
Yeah.
It sounds corny as hell, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, very well said, man. I'm an emotional guy. I struggled to get through my little speech at his funeral, and I was able to get through it and everything, but I thought you spoke so well. I love the guy, he's really was just a true friend, so it sucks. And I just hope that anyone that's out there that's watching that has had anyone that they've lost to cancer or is currently battling cancer, that they could take some inspiration from Mike, because he was the definition of a true fighter and a true friend. And we'll do everything that we can to keep his memory alive here in the combat sports world moving forward. Um, yeah,
Right.
and we'll do the same thing with the Mike Shorey Fight of the Night award for NEF. So please engage with us on that when that comes around. But I wanted to address that right out of the gate because I know both of us were very close with him. So thank you again for everything that you do. I'll leave it at that because I don't want to get emotional on here, and people want to hear us talk about fights. So we'll transition to that. Let's talk about the excitement of this opportunity, man. Brendan Battles, Cage Titans title. I mean, this is a big deal. Getting a win here, being the first heavyweight to hoist that title for Cage Titans. I mean, what does that mean to you? What would that mean to you to get this win?
Well, as you've also been case side for, this is my third attempt at snatching a title. I haven't been able to pull that off yet, and I am I'm in a whole new world right now. So yeah, third time's the charm is how I'm going to look at it. This is also third time's the charm against Fall River, Massachusetts. They seem to be racking up a real friend count over their former opponents. Now, the first two got me. Jorgen and Domingos both got me. Jorgen was the first title that I lost. And now Brendan's looking to make it a clean sweep in his own right. And I'm looking to make that an impossibility. So lots of work, lots and lots and lots and lots of work, all coming down to a real good old banger, man. I mean, Brendan's a big dude, hardcore, high level wrestler. He's been picking up his hands and mixing in all kinds of strikes lately, actually, not just the hands. But yeah, even though he's got a pretty short career on paper, he's D1 scholarship athlete out of Mass. They put you through hell through those programs. He's working with the big boys down at Regiment, and it's probably upwards of 8 bodies on a regular basis he gets to mix it up with. He's elite of the Northeast right now, and I couldn't ask for a higher caliber guy. Not just an athlete, not just a professional, but a guy. He's another family man like me who's got real reasons to be in here and real aspirations. And we're gonna go at it. We're gonna tangle. We're gonna clash, and everybody's gonna love it, man.
Can't wait for this fight. I really can't. I mean, he's had 2 fights in 2022. All of his wins are in the first round via TKO, but prior to those 2 fights, Raz, this guy had a 6-year layoff. People talk about ring rust, I don't cage rust, however you want to call it. I don't know, I think it's probably person to person, right? Like it's going to affect
Mhm.
some people more than it does others, but we saw it, the last time I remember seeing him was in 2016 at Dana White's looking for a fight in Bangor. He lost to Derek Brown at the end of the second round. And then 6 years off, and now he's had 2 wins most recently. Do you feel like you're going to see the best version of Brendan Battles in this fight?
Well, like you said, he just had 2 fights real quick, and as I mentioned, he's working with a good team. So I think we're out of the window of where ring rust would be really problematic. Not to say that it's no element whatsoever. I just don't, not always a person to person, but the more you get back into it, the more that fades. So I don't really consider that a factor, and I wouldn't anyway, just because anybody who's spent a number of years training the body to react a certain way, you never lose everything. It may get a little sloppy, it may get unrefined, but it's not gone. So it's just resharpening and rehoning things that are already there. That's kind of a non-factor for me.
Let me ask you this though, real quick. All right. So, and I guess I don't know his most recent 2 opponents as well, but having said that, you in particular, you're hitting on all cylinders right now. I mean, we'll talk about the PFL fight in a minute, but that's against a high level guy, Danilo Marquez.
That was
You can be away for a while and come back and get a couple of wins, but to come back against elite competition, that's a different thing, right?
well, of course. I mean, the as you mentioned, Danilo Marquez, there are a lot of guys who, well, not a lot comparatively speaking, but there's that percentage of fighters who do it full time. They are training, teaching, drilling. Their life is the competition, is the professional athlete, and there's the vast majority of the rest of us who are working a day job and fitting in whatever time we can elsewise. Now, I happen to be fortunate enough that my boss, as you know, Cody Kilton, amateur fighter as well, but first sponsor mentioned SK Construction, phasing over to Kilton Building and Development. He is in my corner as well, so he's able to offer me the schedule flexibility while I learn that trade to ply my own. Now, granted, I still work full time and do this as my overtime job, but it's better than most. But there's still that gap, I think. Um, there's that gap that a lot of us are working to overcome, where you're able to transition mentally from one place to the next. The cage is a different world, and just like anything else, it's something you got to be, again, 90% mentally there for, so that when you step up to the line, it's only a short trip to pulling the trigger and engaging with your opponent. There is that advantage that those who are training professionally 100% of the time are, again, those tools are finely honed, stay sharp and ready 100% of the time, and there's no transition back out here into the civilized world, so to speak.
Okay.
So yeah, there are things there, but person to person, it racks up differently. Your outlook is going to determine a lot of things, but take it all in stride and uh, commit.
All right, we'll
Never gonna.
circle back. Sorry, that didn't mean to cut you off there. We'll circle back to this fight, and I want to talk about camp and all of that. But let's talk a little bit about the PFL fight in February. Danilo Marquez, round 2, RNC loss. Run me through your thoughts on everything now, looking back at it.
Uh, so mixed results is how I would probably condense it into the short answer. I went down a couple weeks early to reacclimate to the thick, muggy southern atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, I love uh, and respect everyone. ATT Tampa, I love my family down there. I love everybody who helped me get ready. It's just that, again, as I mentioned, that full time into working for the job that I'm trying to do here was something that I am still working on fine tuning. Did my absolute best. I, however, feel as though there was something. Trigger was never fully pulled in retrospect, I think is how I want to describe it. There, there was just something that was off. I wasn't able to really fully commit to the plan that we went through. My coaching was great. My drilling was good. I felt sharp. I felt on point. And then for whatever little inconsistencies there were, just didn't have it right then when I knew I needed it the most. And I did. Okay, I'm only going to bring up Mike this time to say that I really wanted to make sure that I had a win to come back with, knowing that the time was coming so soon. And whatever little hang-ups I had just kept me from delivering 100%. I can complain a little bit about not having elbows or whatever else didn't quite line up with my ideal perspective of how things should have gone. But fact of the matter is, I did not put on the show that I wanted to. I was a half step behind a really good competitor who I needed to be all on for. So my results are 100% on me, and I should have done better. I should have been able to deliver like I've been doing. I've finally gotten really consistent. I got 3 in a row of the same type of evolution that I was looking for. I was steadily improving, and then I just hit a speed bump, and I was not able to deliver the way I wanted to. There were some good things. I've been able to gain some confidence from being able to get up off of the ground from under a BJJ black belt 3 times. There were some really good defensive and angling moments that I was able to pull off, and then there were all the cup shots that I don't know where the hell that came from. I was kicking like an idiot that night. Whatever was wrong with me, it was translating everywhere, because there was a Instagram story posted later of apparently I broke that little white cup that he had that night, and yeah, not the way I wanted to go down notoriously, but there it is. It happened. There, obviously, as the perfectionist that I hope to be, I'm uh, really critical of the things that went wrong. But there was plenty of good stuff there. And again, I made it into the second round against a very seasoned competitor coming out of a really good gym and a really good lineage. So you win some, you lose some. I either go out on my shield or I walk out carrying it. But I want every fight to finish with a finish. Sometimes that's me, sometimes that's them. Always a good time, though, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I can only imagine. How did the promotion treat you, and has there been any discussions? Are they open to bringing you back?
Oh, the promotion was great. A lot of good people working at PFL. They really made it an easy time getting around to what I needed, made the facilities open, took care of us real good down at the hotel. I got nothing but good things to say about Ras Hylton and the whole team. I really appreciate you guys. Um, the last I knew, I was a free agent. Um, there were there wasn't really much to say after that. I mean, Challenger Series, you show up and either you win or you get axed. It's kind of like the Tuesday Night Contender Series, put that way. I'm sure if anything comes up, they'll let me know that they're interested. But the meantime, it's just an amicable separation, and I'm looking to make sure that Brendan gets my full attention for Cage Titans. Because again, Mike Pulver, haven't even worked for him yet, and he's been a good dude. So
Yeah.
it's the beauty of working in the martial arts world. You run into a lot of good people, right?
Yeah, well, you're right about that. So, Raz, you're 9-7 now as a pro. This is a
Yep.
big fight, man. You got to get this win, and it'll be a big win. Again, winning the Cage Titans heavyweight title, that's a huge feather in your cap. Do you feel pressure going into this fight?
I would assume that I would feel some amount of pressure going into every fight. Otherwise, it's time to hang it. You know, if you don't feel some sort of, I don't know, little anxiety, tension, pressure, whatever it is. If you don't feel that, take a hike. That's that's one of the things that has leads to off nights. Um, so yeah, there is pressure. He's young in the record, so obviously that's a bad look if I lose there. But more importantly, this is a key point in my martial arts journey. This is the title fight. This is the prototypical MMA matchup. It's right in my wheelhouse. I'm, a little bit anxious but confident. He's a puzzle that I feel very confident being able to figure out when it comes down to the moment. There's a lot of heavy leather that he's able to throw. He's good with his takedowns and pressure. He's learning more to be measured in his approach rather than just throwing himself into it. So he's turning the corner into a position of real viability out there. Yeah, at the end of the day, numbers be damned. We're both two big dudes, and that's a dangerous situation. I'm looking to be as quick as possible and get to a position of authority and maintain it until the end, whatever time that takes. I'm not looking to get in there and put him out immediately. Obviously, that would be nice, but let's face it, again, big tough dude. So it's all about just being smart, being aggressive, and making sure that everything happens at my distance.
At a quick glance, when you look at this fight, it's the prototypical striker versus wrestler, right? Do you feel that's what we're going to see when it comes fight night in the cage? Is he just going to be shooting, trying to get you to the ground, or do you think that there is a chance where he's going to want to stand up and trade with you?
No, generally speaking, this is the prototypical wrestler versus striker, but we're both more than just that. He has, and that one of those two fighters that I mentioned, I knew Joshua Marsh. He stood and banged with him a bit, and he figured out his range before he went in for the takedown. That's what I mean by he's turning that corner. He's becoming more seasoned. He's learning to incorporate the other elements of MMA. And he's got really good people to work with and fine tune that. Good coaching, good partners. Again, we're in the martial arts world. We meet a lot of good people, and it's adding up to a more well-rounded fighter. So sure, we all go back to our instincts, but he's got way cooler ways to enact what he's comfortable doing, you know?
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. When you look at this fight and
Well,
you
his interview time, so I'll be just a little loud. Kids just got back.
no, hey, family first. When you do look at this fight though, right? You close your eyes at night, you go to sleep and you envision how this plays out. How does it play out, Raz? How do you get your hand raised here? How are you getting this belt wrapped around your waist?
Fundamentals. Jab cross is going to set up absolutely everything. I feel more confident now than I ever have that the distance is mine. It's like I'm telling when I teach, I'm telling my students all the time, if you control the distance and control the timing, you will control the engagement. The timing is something that's a big part of that mental aspect that I'm finally really starting to get a better picture on. And I've got all the motivation I need right now to stay on it. So, distance, not getting too excited, is going to put me in a position where it's jab cross and then knees, elbows, clinch, kick, whatever at that point. It's going to be a very fast hands fight that's going to start it. And then I'm either going to start kicking, kneeing, or elbowing until he stops, because it's a freight train. Knock it off the tracks. That's going to take a lot of very quick, very dedicated effort, and that's what's going to happen.
If you do get this win, are you looking to defend the Cage Titans belt again soon, or is there a chance that maybe we're going to see you back competing at New England fights at some point again in the near future?
Hmm. One thing at a time. Always one thing at a time. But in a perfect world, at the other side of this, on that timeline, that would be a conversation to have with Mr. Pulver. Um, I'd like to defend it at least a couple of times. I mean, if you don't defend the strap, it's not really mine in my mind. So that would be ideal. After that, everything's kind of on the table. It depends on what happens later. But this is my title, and I'm coming to claim it and keep it, and then figure things out after that.
Last question for me, Raz. This is your first time fighting for Cage Titans, and we know how awesome the venue is. Everyone that's been there talks just about how amazing it is to watch fights there. The Plymouth Memorial Hall. I mean, have you ever been, first of all, let me ask you this first question. Have you ever been there in person to watch fights? And secondly, just how excited are you to compete at that venue?
Yep. One time, I was there the last time. Another mutual friend of ours, Cam Arnold, the last card that he was on, I went down to announce the fight. Brendan and I faced off in the cage that night. Michael Pulver and his team had me down as a guest. So Cody Kilton and I went down with a couple of our friends, and Cody and I got comped a couple of tickets. We were able to go just hang out, see everybody. Ross Bean was there, Cupcakes was there. Friggin' like, I just got to sit back and hang out and enjoy the card, and talked to a bunch of people, had a good time, and it's a really good energy. if you have you ever seen the movie Bunraku?
No.
Kind of obscure. It's this Ron Perlman, Woody Harrelson flick. That's the characters I'm naming off right now, but it's they keep cutting away to Japanese paper theater, and I won't go into the whole story, but there's this one line that Killer Number Two says that really encapsulates the way I feel about a venue that I like, and it goes, "Smell how thin the air is at the point of dying." Now, there's a whole lot of context that needs to go behind that. Otherwise, that line doesn't make sense. But I kind of take in the atmosphere. I kind of breathe it in when I first get there. And when it's fight night, there's a particular atmosphere, and it gives me the feeling that I get when that line happens in that movie. And everything just, it's a little bit brighter, it's a little bit clearer. You hear things just right. There's an energy that happens at a good fight, and Cage Titans has that atmosphere. I can smell how thin the air is, and I want to be there. I want to be wrapping up.
I
I
can't
want to
wait,
be.
man. It's right around the corner, but it'll be here before you know it. May 27th, Ras Hylton, Brendan Battles, Cage Titans 59 main event for the heavyweight strap. It doesn't get any better than that. Raz, always a pleasure, buddy. You know that. As always, before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have any sponsors you want to thank, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
Well, of course, I am Shorey Strong, and I fight like Mike. So hashtag fuck cancer, and please give to the Shorey Farm Fund. Fight with me, don't cry for me. We GoFundMe to approach there. As far as I'm concerned, thank you, Rasquatch Nation, and all of the people who helped me to get it done. Repping American Top Team Tampa, Dragonfire Martial Arts, and the Che Institute right here locally in Portland. As I mentioned earlier, SK Construction. I build houses and I break people, and we do good work. There's, of course, Bailey's Campground right here locally, which I hope to see you at coming in later this year, in conjunction with Gully's Tiki Bar. Nick Gulliver, former NEF heavyweight title holder himself, in the amateur ranks, and a very good friend who got me into the life up here of the Maine martial artist and all the fun stuff that we do. I'd like to thank Primerica, in particular Diana London, as a financial advisor. Really good person who is helping me to really upgrade my financial knowledge and cement a better education for myself and better, more responsible budgeting and things like that. Um, and additionally, I'm having the brain bite me right now. I'm absolutely going to get wrecked. There we go. Elias Leland. Did you know he is a real estate agent? No?
I did know
Well,
that. Yeah.
give him. Oh, good. Thank you. Okay. Not only is he a BJJ badass and another local martial artist, but yeah, he also will help you to put your family in the home that you want, or help to get rid of the old homestead so that you can pack up and head off to a new one. However that needs to work, please give him a call. Um, and we are, of course, looking for more sponsors and more help to get these printed up and make sure that we can have the proper showing like we always do. Want your picture on the banner. I want Cage Titans to have a beautiful showing to throw off onto their live stream, and I need your help to do it. So thank you to all of you who are helping me do it, and come join the team. Let's get Rasquatch Nation up and running again.